What the heck is that? This is an old tool that I've had in my shop now since, I don't know, 20 years or better. It's an old power feeder, and I'm going to try and resurrect it. I think it still works. I'm going to clean it up a little bit and see if there's some way I can adapt it to my table saw and put it to work when I need it. You know, it has to be able, I have to be able to put it on and off type thing. So I'm thinking of maybe building a table attached to this fence, similar to this, but reverse this, so that as I move my fence, this thing will move with it. But a couple of things. These bolts that run through this plate extend out, and that's why I had it mounted to that wooden plate, so that when you set it down on the bench top, whatever you're using, you have a flush surface. So that's why I've got it hanging out over the edge here. Let me show you what I mean here. So you can see these bolts are protruding, they're too long. These two I had loosened up. I thought I was threaded into that base somehow, but I'll thread these back in. I guess before I got carried away, I wanted to make sure this thing worked. It does. Here's why it's not working. It's a forward and reverse switch here. So that's good news. Okay, that's ready to go. Couple bolts and some T-nuts. All right, near as I can tell, this thing is fairly balanced. I believe, you know, I think the theory is this casting over here and the plate are about the same weight as the unit itself. So I've got this thing set up to power through 3/4 inch plywood. Now this piece of plywood is, you know, more than twice as long. It's 19 3/4 by 8.5. So this is something that you generally aren't supposed to do. You know, rip a piece that's wider than it is long. That's the piece you want to rip. So I'm gonna send this through. Let me just do this. Let's just check it out and see. That'll be all right. I'm going to move the fence over so I can do it about 3 times. And I think about the narrowest piece you're going to want to rip is probably going to be, you know, if it's a 1-inch material, you can probably get by with about, let's just see here, maybe 5 inches wide. No. Probably 6. So let's call it 6. And it does move fairly easily. I think I am going to redo this box though, but first I want to see if this is going to work. Well, you can't get any safer than that. And that's, those are perfect. The nice thing about it is it's a constant feed rate. I could probably slow it down a little bit, but it's a constant feed rate and there's no burning. So I think that, you know, with the hardwood, you'd have to send it through a lot slower, but I tell you what, that can't be beat right there. That's nice. So I think maybe I'll get this back into my rotation, but I'm going to redo this box. I had this piece of 7/8 inch thick red oak sitting in my stack back here. I'm going to make my new holder out of this. This piece here is like 6 inches wide, but I'm going to rip this one down to 5 3/4. So it's probably just going to be a skim cut, and I'm going to slow the feed rate down a little bit too. But let's see how it does with this oak. Looks good. You know, again, that constant feed rate, that does a lot for the clean cut, the cleanliness of the cut, and the consistency of the cut. Alright, so I'm going to cut this to length, face joint it, probably rip it again in half to get the side piece. I'll be back when I get all that done.